it take to really scale your small business? Hi, I'm Melanie Benson. I'm America's leading small business authority, and this weekly podcast series is all about learning how to make the business you have perform 100 times, 20 times, 10 times, whatever it takes. You want to learn how to make it work better by putting a little bit of energy into the right things that get you great results. And scalability is definitely one of those things that a lot of people think about, a lot of people want, but very few people learn the formula that really makes it work. And I have a really, really dear friend of mine that's joining me here today, and we're going to talk about the behind the scenes of what it took for him to scale his business. And he's going to share the good, the bad, sometimes the ugly, the really fun, like what goes behind really making it work. So let me introduce to you my friend and fellow colleague, Travis Greenlee. Now, Travis is a master business growth strategist who specializes in helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, and service professionals to automate, simplify, and rapidly increase their profits. And you can find Travis at profitgroove.com. And Travis, it's so fun to have you come on. We've done so many fun things together over the years, and we keep evolving and growing and shifting. And I've been watching your path as you started to bring this new Profit Groove program out into the world. And I thought, okay, he got something figured out there. He's got something that really is working. So thanks so much for coming on and sharing your behind the scenes story.
You bet, Mel. It's an absolute pleasure. And like you say, any opportunity I have to play with you, I am there.
Woo-hoo, love it. So let's talk a little bit about Travis and who you are and what kind of led you to the point where you wanted to build Profit Groove.
Great question. I mean, I think it is mainly out of desperation. and
Always a great reason.
Right? I mean, the real motivator behind all of this was, it started many, many years ago. I've always had a love for technology and automation and, like you said, sequencing and scaling and really building successful businesses. And I've been doing this for a long time, really teaching other people how to do it, the different steps and tools and resources and exactly what it takes. But what I found about 4 years ago, I was at the point where I had an online business manager and a couple of virtual assistants, and they were very expensive. And for all kinds of different reasons, it just wasn't working out. And I think many people that are watching in and are listening in can sort of relate to this. But, at the same time, I remember reading, the 4-Hour Work Week, and I thought, maybe there's something to this. I'd always been a little skeptical of outsourcing and just sort of the downside of the industry. And there certainly are some downsides and some negative aspects that you need to be careful of. But one of the reasons why I think I really got into this and where we've evolved with Profit Groove was, like I say, out of necessity. I had the team that just wasn't really able to expand into scale. So everything that I was teaching my clients and training and sharing and showing wasn't necessarily doing it in my own business. So went out, found a small team, taught them how to do all this stuff. It began to grow, brought my clients in. They began benefiting from it. Brought a colleague in who saw what we were doing, was really excited about it. So wanted to, have us support her in her launch. And she did very well. She did close to $1 million on her launch, which got her excited about it. So then she said, hey, let's introduce this to my group and to my list. So I'm like, well, all right, let's go ahead and do it just to see if it even worked. And the thing took off. I mean, it took off like crazy. We went from about 4 or 5 clients to 121 clients in less than 4 months. So it sounds exciting, and it was. I mean, financially was killer. I mean, we went to 60, 70 grand a month like that. But then there's challenges, and I'll share more about that. It was pretty stressful time, as you can probably imagine, in a lot of respects. So lots of lessons learned, lots of good, lots of bad, a lot of the ugly, a lot of sleepless nights in the process. But thank God we went through all that and really helped me to understand not only my own business, but how we can support other clients that are maybe going through the same thing. And they want to leverage and they want to scale and they want to get out of maybe the one-on-one or the hourly type of coaching that we've had for, kind of the old school model and move into something that can really grow into a successful business. And that's really kind of how it came about.
Love that. And I think that's what a lot of people would say that becomes the motivation for creating something more scalable or more leverage is that desperate moment. But, I don't think everybody understands that, sometimes rapid growth comes with a lot of challenges. And I definitely want to talk about that in a minute. But first, let's dig just a little bit deeper into Profit Groove.
Okay.
What is it that why Profit Groove? Like, what is it that it does that solves a problem for the people that hire you? Like,
Right.
why?
Right. Yeah, why? Why us? Why profit group? Great question. What we realized, or what I realized, many years ago, was there was a gap. There's a gap in our industry, and typically I've got a couple different choices. Either most service professionals and coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, small business owners, the people that we work with, people like you and I, we've got a couple different choices. Number one is to either do the stuff ourselves, and whether it's building our own websites and generating our own traffic and managing our own social media, just all the stuff, all the things that it takes to build a successful business these days. One choice is to do it ourselves, and as Mel, as you and I both know, it's not a good choice.
Right.
I mean, very, very, very costly in a lot of respects trying to do that kind of stuff. So if you look at the other alternatives, it would be outsourcing, going and finding, going to Elance or Guru or Freelance or some of those, where typically you go out and you'll find maybe a web designer, and then you'll find somebody that can generate traffic and somebody that can create an app for you and can do all these things. But then the problem is number one, finding them, then training them, then hiring them, then managing them, and then finding, trying to find somebody else when they leave, and just, you become a project manager as opposed to doing what you love and what we love, which is coaching and
Yeah.
consulting and motivating and inspiring. And so all of a sudden you get into a whole different business of being a manager, which is certainly not what most of us want to do. So that's the problem on that side. So what we found with Profit Group is there was a gap in the middle, being able to provide our clients and provide ourselves with a team that's highly trained in terms of what it takes to build a successful business online, with the technology, the recent tools like Infusionsoft and Office Autopilot and Lead Pages and Optimized Press and WordPress. And, there's about 8 or 9 different software packages that are working really well with what we're doing in the marketplace. So what we did is we trained our team exactly how to do this stuff so that they became experts, so that now when a client comes in, they don't have to be their own project manager. They don't have to hire people. They don't have to find people. They don't have to train people. They simply step in. And then what we've done is created a formula or a system that profiles the clients, learns a little bit more about them, helps them to develop their blueprint, the different steps within their business. Then we take it in our project management system that holds it all together, the communications. And then finally, we bring in a project manager that works directly with the clients and the development team, so that the client can continue to focus on the things that they love, which is the coaching or the consulting, the speaking, the training, the things that really brings out their God-given strengths. And of course, when they can spend their time doing that, that's when their income just begins to go through the roof. Plus, they make a much bigger difference in the world. So it's been a wonderful ride. It's been a wonderful gap that we found in the industry, and we're just super excited about it.
Yeah, and it's the done for you model instead of the teach you what to do is really powerful. And a lot of people,
Yeah.
they know what to do, they don't have time, they don't want to learn it. And I can certainly relate to that. I'm a big believer in teaching people how to delegate and teaching
Yeah.
people that they need to build a team. And so one of the great options is hire someone that can, be already trained to do what you want
Right.
and knows all the ins and outs, and you're not having to figure it out for them. So I love that. Those are some great problems that you're solving. So you said that you had rapid growth. There was some things that happened really fast and a lot of ups and downs along the way.
Oh.
Maybe tell us a little bit about what was going on behind the scenes that were some of the challenges that came with so much fast success with this profit group program.
Right. Oh my gosh, I could tell you the horror stories. I mean, man, we could spend hours talking about this, but I'll break it down in just a few minutes. It was, to put it this way, as many sleepless nights for about a 3 or 4 month period, because with the challenge of rapid growth, and it was very different growth, because with this, as you can imagine, going from 5 or 6 clients to over 121 clients in such a rapid period of time, each client, what we do is highly detailed. Every client's different. They've got different things going on. They've got product launches going on and milestones and timelines and right, a lot of stuff happening. So to be able to manage all that and manage that growth is very challenging. I mean, it's like the saying is, don't try this at home. Don't try and go out and build your own outsourcing company or your own digital marketing company, because it's not easy. I'll tell you that much. I've gone through the war. I've got the war wounds to show it. But it's because there's just so many details involved with that. So, as an example, it would be just having a project management system that could keep track of everything, all the individual clients and all their tasks and all the sequencing and order, and to be able to keep it all in place to where you can get quick turnaround and you can get high quality services, which of course is what clients want. And if they don't get it, people these days, we're very picky, where if we're
Yeah.
going to be paying for services, we got to have really good services. And unfortunately, we grew so fast that, man, I was like duct taping everything I possibly could. I'm like trying this project management system and trying that and bringing in a new manager and bringing in a new team and trying to team the team to the managers to train the team. And it was just madness for about 4 to 5 months. And unfortunately, as a result, it hurt us and some of the clients, we faltered a bit. We had to step back, and we had some client satisfaction issues, and begin to have some backtracks there. But it was one of those miracles. Always when we go through challenging times, and it's such a learning time and a growth time. What we realized through that was that in order to be able to build the business and to scale and to grow it to where we want to go, and my vision is to have 1,000+ clients, and we're certainly well on our way. But at that point, I didn't have the systems in place and didn't have the team and didn't have the structure to be able to manage it. So of course it blew up. We completely imploded. And again, we stabilized. Of course, we put new systems in and brought in new teams and management and people that are a whole lot better at this than I am. I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned is, what my skill sets are teaching and training and strategy and so on and so forth, motivating and just getting people excited. It is not billing, bookkeeping, details, any of that kind of stuff. So, by getting myself out of that way and beginning to build a business and bringing in people that were better than me and smarter than me and faster than me and just, a much better team, got out of my own way, that's when things really begin to take off. And, for many people who are listening in or watching in, really look at your own business. If you're kind of flatlined or if you're struggling, you're just not moving as fast as you want, kind of take a look in the mirror and look at how are you spending your time? Are you working within your strengths, or are you trying to, work through and struggle through things that maybe aren't necessarily your strengths that somebody else, maybe a team member, could come in and do much better, much faster, and certainly with a lot less brain damage than trying to do it all
Brain
yourself.
damage.
Right.
Well, you said a couple things. One, I heard, recognizing when you're becoming the bottleneck. And I think that's a really pivotal time for every business leader, every entrepreneur. But the other thing that you said, and I actually want to take this a little bit deeper, because there's something really significant about recognizing what you do in these situations. Because first of all, you're not the first really brilliant entrepreneur to falter and to grow so fast that, they kind of have issues with customer service. And so, I think, it's one thing to have those issues and to blow it off. It's another thing to realize we've got these issues and to really create a way to navigate those conversations with your customers and turn them into fans and turn them into support systems and to work through those problems and keep people on board. Like, what do you think worked for you in those situations that someone else might learn from if they're having those kinds of challenges?
Great point. I think the biggest one is that, people just really want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be understood if they have a problem, and they're gonna have them. I mean, doing what we do and working with people, challenges are going to show up. I mean, there's just no way around it. So realize that, this isn't about perfection. This isn't a perfect game by any means, and things are going to show up. So that's number one, is just realize that, be okay with that. And then number two is just, really focusing on the relationship and getting to it quickly. If there's ever a challenge, it's like, get in communication, get on the phone, get in emails, get them to the team, let the client know that they're heard and that they're understood and that we're doing everything to support them, that we've got their backs. And really that's what they want. People I don't think, want refunds so much these days. They just want to be heard. They want to be understood. And when something arises like this, a challenge, as long as you're acting quickly on it and you're, stepping in and really nurturing that relationship and letting people know that, that they are important, it goes a million miles. And so that's what we did. We really stepped in and made sure that we nurtured those. And we lost a few that just didn't necessarily have the patience for us to get through that time. but most people did, and most people are still with us, 4 years later, and as excited as they are, and shared us with other people, and it's been a wonderful experience. So mainly
Cool.
it's the relationship building, focusing on the relationship.
Yeah, that's great. I love that advice. I think that's perfect. So, what do you think was a technique or a strategy that helped you like get Profit Groove off the ground so quickly? Because, I think a lot of people have great ideas, but there's a sequencing, as you call it, of steps to take to go from an idea to having that kind of fast-paced growth. And maybe walk us through a couple things you did really right that someone else could replicate to scale at that level.
Great. Mainly well, first of all, is creating the blueprint. I mean, really
Hmm.
looking at the strategy, not just trying a little this and trying a little that, where I see so many entrepreneurs doing. They're like, they take a course online, or they go to a seminar, an event or something, you get some great ideas, and they start piecemealing things without really looking at the bigger picture, what this might, potentially grow into. So at least have some sort of direction on, the business and where it could possibly head, number one. And then number two is it's all about the automation. It truly is all about the tools and the systems and the infrastructure, the foundation of the business. You've got to lay that in place first before things begin to take off, or it can get absolutely crazy. So, CRMs, customer relationship management systems, to be able to keep track of your leads and your prospects and people that you're communicating with, obviously shopping carts, list management systems, having a good bookkeeper or billing to make sure that you're managing that side of the business. The foundational aspects of the business is absolutely critical. That number one, you know what they are, and number two, that you put them into place before you begin to take off, because it'll save you a whole bunch of headaches in time. So that's number one. And then once you have the tools and the resources in place to be able to manage the foundation and the growth of the business, then it's all about the team. And I know, Mel, you talk about this all the time. I mean, you're the expert in this, is finding the right people with the right roles and the right skill sets to be able to manage the individual aspects, or really the positions of the team. And, if you're trying to do something that maybe isn't your skill set, get out of it. Be honest with yourself and step back and focus on your strengths, and bring other people in the areas of your business that need to be managed.
Mm.
So starting with, bookkeeping, billing for sure, maybe a virtual assistant or an online business manager, certainly a team like Profit Group that could manage all the technical aspects from web design and traffic gen and all these things that have to happen with your business. If you want to grow and if you want to scale, it's about having the tools in place and the team to be able to run the tools and systems in place to allow you to be able to work within your strengths. I mean, it sounds simple, but it really is. That's the key, is that foundation.
These are great tips. I love them, love them, love them, because we know that foundationally these things have to be in place. And I want to also check in with something that you alluded to when you talked about how things kicked off, and you talked about a colleague who was having a launch, and you kind of test drove this whole model with them. And how important do you think it is to have that one person, or to have, so it's almost like I feel like in a way they kind of sponsored this concept and help you prove it out. How important do you think that is, and how much of that do you think contributed to your ability to really kind of have this spread like wildfire?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, it truly is everything. It's collaboration,
Hmm.
collaboration versus the competition, and certainly the direction or the model that we're all heading into, and really where we're moving to. But it's, there's three ways really to build a business, or to build traffic and to build, momentum. It's the three B's. You can build it yourself, you can borrow it, or you could buy it. So you can build
I like
traffic.
that.
You can build traffic through content marketing, with articles and with videos and with social media and with all the stuff. Getting yourself out there certainly works, and it's certainly one aspect of that. So that's building it. Borrowing it, number two, is through joint ventures, collaboration, working with other leaders within your space and that can support you to reach out and to connect with the people that you really are meant to serve. And then the third B is, of course, buying it through media buys and Facebook ads and banner ads and all of those things. So it's building, borrowing, buying. What you're alluding to or hitting on is the borrowing it, the middle piece, which is joint ventures. And it's been 90 to 95% of our success in how we've built our business and how we continue to build the business is through collaboration with people like yourself,
Hmm.
other awesome leaders in the industry who have influence, who have respect of, their subscribers and their peeps, their tribe,
Yeah.
because they've earned that over years. And as you really focus on developing those relationships, that's where things can take off. So, I spend a lot of my time personally, I know you do as well, of nurturing the relationships with other potential joint venture partners that can help you to support that and help you to grow. It's the key to success. It truly is.
Yeah, I think it's good that we're talking about that because I know for me, a lot of my first successes came because I had a collaborative relationship where the problem I solved was exactly what they needed at the time, and they opened doors for me. And I think my first 100K came from two joint ventures. So I think that's it's something we shouldn't overlook, but you have to be very strategic about it at the same time. So I would consider you, Travis, a sequentially successful business owner. Like you have sequentially had one type of success after another, right? Starting with your early days and then moving into a coach, and then, now bringing your coaching and the profit groove to the world. You continue to find these niches to serve. What would you say is like an aha moment if you look back over your whole path as an entrepreneur? What do you think was the aha moment that maybe was like the game changing moment for you and in the trajectory of your success and the way you chose to do business?
Great question. Well, I think I just got really clear on my passion, my purpose, how I wanted to spend my time each and every day. Monday through Friday, even through the weekends, of how you want to spend your time, how I wanted to spend my time. And it goes back to quickly, I think, you've heard my story before, but I'm a cancer survivor. So actually 13 years ago, I went through stage 4 melanoma, skin cancer, and almost died. In fact, my oncologist gave me a 50% chance of living beyond 2 years. And so for those of you watching and listening in now, if you've gone through a health situation like this, or somebody else that has, I mean, it rocks your world. I mean, it completely just turned everything upside down in terms of how I wanted to spend my time during the day. Up to that point, it was all about go, 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 achievement, success, money, more, more, more. I was a financial advisor with Merrill Lynch. My first career did really well, lived in Orange County, California, drove around a little Saab convertible, little Merrill Lynch license plate frames, talking on my cell phone, and just the ultimate yuppie. When you think about like Orange County, it was great at the time back then. But what I realized was that I burned out. That wasn't me. And going through the whole cancer scare and going through that process really had me step back and sort of humbled me in a lot of respect in terms of what is important. How do I want to spend the time? Because to be honest with you, I don't know if I've got another 20 days, another 20 months, another 20 years. I don't know how much longer I have here. I really don't. And again, if you've been through a situation like this or know somebody that has, you know where I'm coming from. I'm no longer feeling invincible like I was 10, 15, 20 years ago. So it gives you a different perspective of how you want to spend your life. And what I decided to do is that, hey, I'm all about freedom. I want to ski every day. I live here, as you know, in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, a ski resort in Northwest Colorado. And I ski over 100 days a year. We travel, we do all these wonderful things because I value that so highly. And I put that first, and then business comes second. Yeah, I want to make a difference in people's lives. Yes, I want to make an obscene amount of money. And, all those things are great. But what is the most important thing is the freedom and how my wife and I, Teresa, we spend our time each and every day. So that was it. That was a turning point. And then fortunately now with technology and everything that's available, I mean, once you get clear on how you want to spend your day, now it's just a matter of constructing your business around that. Because we can, with video and smartphones and broadband and it's just crazy how quickly things are moving now, and just the ability for you and I to do what we're doing here, and how we can connect with so many people and share our message with so many people and work for an hour or two doing that, and then go out and ski for another 2 or 3 hours. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it.
Well, skiing's not my thing per se, but, I definitely would translate that to the spa or, being able to just have time flexibility. Time flexibility, I think, is something that so many people are missing out on. My heart breaks every time I pick up the phone and I'm talking to one of my clients and like, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't get it all done. I can't figure it all out. And I'm like, Yeah. Okay. So this is a
Yeah.
values issue here. We've got to restructure things. And I love that you said, let's put the lifestyle first. I had a saying that I had for many years that when you put your lifestyle, when you have a business and you're trying to put lifestyle into it, you'll never make it work. But if you start with your lifestyle vision and your goals and then you build your business around it, that's the way to have a lifestyle
Totally.
business. And it's really hard to do it the
Absolutely.
opposite way.
Yep.
So let's say somebody is really intrigued by this concept of lifestyle and they're thinking, well, I want to have more time for the things I enjoy, but they feel so far from it, Travis. And it just feels like the thing that is so out of reach is like,
Yeah.
okay, that planet over there sounds nice, but I don't know how to get there. What could
Right.
somebody do, or maybe even who do they need to start being to
Mm.
really like start having a lifestyle instead of being trapped in their business?
Great point. It's first of all, you got to see it. In order to be able to create it and to be able to manifest it, to enjoy it, you got to be able to see it and really begin to dream again. I think as
Hmm.
you had mentioned, so many people are so caught up in the day-to-days and the more and the get ahead that they've completely lost who they are and what's important to them and they just haven't, they forgot how to dream. They forgot how to really think about what they want and how they want to spend their time during the days. Make it super simple. I mean, break it down. Start there. If you could spend your time each and every day, Monday through Friday, how would you spend your time if you had nothing holding you back? If you didn't have the 9 to 5 job, if you didn't have the financial pressures, if you didn't have all the stuff that holds you back, what would you do? How would you spend your time during those days? Ask yourself that question. Do a little journaling. Get out of that, what I call the monologue versus dialogue. Monologue is when you go around in your head and you're trying to ask yourself these questions and come up with the answers and think about all this stuff. Very difficult. Get into the dialogue where you're actually speaking with somebody, a coach. I know, again, you do a lot of work with your clients on this, maybe a spouse. It could even be journaling. Pull out a pad of paper and just write. Just do a brain dump so you're getting out of your own head from the monologue to the dialogue so that you can start to see this stuff again. You can start to create space in your own head and in your own energy to where you start to dream again. And as you start to see this vision, that's when things are going to start to move. Baby steps. It's just one step at a time. Don't try and do this big miraculous change overnight because it's just too big. It
Hmm.
feels impossible for people. But if you could go step by step based on how you want to spend your time, based on what you love, enjoyment, freedom, adventure, I mean, novelty, the things that just fire you up, getting back to that place, getting clear about that, I think that's the starting gate. And another thing would be, and I know this is, we've probably heard this over and over again, but vision boarding, getting the visual aspects of where are you in life right now and where are you headed and what do you want and, what's important to you. And this is something that my wife Teresa and I do every year. In fact, what we'll do is we'll go out and we do it old school. So we get the old poster board out
Yeah,
and
that's what I do too.
yeah, right. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
You get that. You cut out the pictures, and she takes the right half. I take the left half. We get the little sticky thing. We put it on there. We get a glass of wine, and we get the fire roaring. It's like date night, right? And we get there and do our thing, and then we talk about it afterwards. She tells me all about hers and why it's important, and I talk about mine, and so it's a connection thing. And then also, boom, we put it up on the
I
wall
love
so that
that.
we can see it over and over and over again. So vision boarding super powerful, especially as we're looking at the new year here and as really begin to look at what you really want to create. Those little things are just so vitally important that you just begin to see it and connect with your dreams again. You got to be able to dream again.
As you're saying that, I'm actually looking up above the camera to my vision board because I keep it right here.
Perfect.
I do one every New Year's. That's my ritual too. So I love that. I love that you brought in vision boards. And what I'm hearing is it's a choice. You've got to make the lifestyle important enough that you put it first. And I actually have heard a lot of people say over the years, like, I don't know what I would actually do with myself if I didn't work all the time. So, it's a choice. And if I'm being really honest, I got so stuck in the work all the time mode because my programming as I came out of college and went to work for the Fortune 500 company is work every day, 12 to 14-hour days, right?
Yeah, right.
So I kind of had that in my DNA and I actually had to unravel that and realize like this is not why I became an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur so I could have the time flexibility and the freedom. So that's when I started doing vision boards and started figuring out, well, what do people do if they're not working all the time, and came up with hobbies. And it was
Yeah.
actually became quite addicting after a while. Like, wow, so if I'm not working every day, I can actually do it. And I will tell you that to this day, I still find myself going, well, I should really catch up on the weekend. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is so not who I am. And so I make plans, I make plans with my family or my friends to make sure that out of habit or boredom, I don't slide back in and just work all the time. Because I think that's what happens. If we don't have something better, it's easy to
Yeah.
work.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because we have so much of our identities wrapped up in it. It's
Hmm.
success. Where if we're working hard and we're putting time in, then we feel like we have a sense of control over life, right? We have a
So
sense of
true.
control, and we're all just all about having a sense of control.
Right.
But I think when you can give some of that up and be okay with it, and I know it's scary. Many people are watching are like, oh, I don't know about that. I need control.
That'll lose money. I'll lose money.
I'll
Yeah.
lose money, but the reality is when you can let go of that control and start enjoying yourself and just get in that place of really being happy and being light, you would not believe how fast the money comes and how easy the money comes. It's not about struggle. If you're out being overwhelmed and you're working, you're putting 14-hour days, man, you're doing something wrong. You're out of balance and you're working too hard for the money. The universe wants to give you more than you can even handle. The
I so
universe and
agree.
God and everything else is like, take it, take it, take it, wants you to have it. But we're just so in our own ways because of our ego is like, edge God out, right? We're in control. We're going to work hard because if we work hard, we feel like we're successful. And even if it's just shuffling business cards around, we feel like we're being productive. When the reality is, it's the exact opposite. The secret is letting go of a lot of that, getting freed up, being happy. When you're in that place of really being happy and being light and being free, everything just begins to happen for you as you focus on, of course, it's law of attraction. You focus on what you want and you create space for it. It's going to fall in your lap as easy as can be. You'll be in the zone and it's all simple. Try it. Again, I know many people are like, oh, I could never do that. It doesn't work. I've tried before, but it does. I can tell you, I've personally experienced it. Mel, I know you have, and thousands of clients that we've worked with and continue to work with are experiencing this as well. You don't have to struggle. You really don't. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's about being more resourceful. So what, Travis, would be a favorite mantra or quote that has been like a guiding force on your journey around business and success?
Great. Well, gosh, I could give you a ton of. I guess what I'll do is I'll give you a tool. How about I give you
Okay.
a tool or a
All right.
resource that really helps as well, kind of some tangible aspects.
Sure.
So, one of the things that I would highly recommend is, and maybe you've heard of this, it's called Heart Math,
Hmm.
heartmath.com. An amazing, amazing system. Bottom line, what this does is they've come up with this process. It's called coercion, where when you get your breathing in sync, when you get your heartbeat in sync, and then when you get your positive emotions all together, all three in the same place, what it does is it gets you nice and centered. It gets you nice and calm. Your heart rate variable, your heart rate begins to calm down, your emotions begin to calm down, you begin to get really clear. It's basically being centered. So what I would highly recommend, this is something I do every single day. I recommend it for all of my clients. In fact, I even buy this for my clients is if you go to heartmath.com, they have this little iPhone app. So you can, it's got this little thing you put on your ear, you plug it into your iPhone, and you simply, you dial it up, and it'll show you very quickly within 2 or 3 minutes where you are. So
Mm.
if you're really stressed out, and it's amazing, like the tangible results that you can see with this. But if you're really stressed out or you've got things going on, you can see it'll keep you in the red. You're just out of sync, and you can actually feel it. And then as you begin calming down, as you begin kind of focusing on the process, thinking about the things that you enjoy, thinking about the things that make you happy, getting in sync with your breathing, with your heart rate, as well as your emotions, it'll go from the red to the blue to the green. So you can actually, again, see very tangibly how quickly you can get in a state. And as you practice this, and again, do this on a daily basis, they say 2 to 3 times a day. But when you can do this on a consistent basis, you will not believe how quickly things will begin to change for you. How you just begin to calm down, how you begin to get much more relaxed, much more focused, much more centered, much more balanced. Again, getting into the zone where things just begin to happen for you, as opposed to you working and being stressed out and making things happen. It allows you to let things happen for you. So Heart Math, I would highly recommend that. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out, heartmath.com, and get the little iPhone app. I think it's like $100, but money well spent, and really make a difference for you.
Yeah, I have heard so much about that over the years. So what I hear you saying is like really learning how to monitor your own physiologies and whether or not you're in stress or not, and becoming more aware of that is a very powerful way to be able to, be more centered, more grounded, more powerful, maybe even more confident, because you're aware, that your energies are out of whack and you're over
Right.
the top, or you're in overdrive mode, and just learning how to breathe and get yourself back into sync. And that's a great tool. I'm going to have to check that out. I've heard about it for years and never checked it out. So Travis, what's next for you besides a whole season of skiing in front of you?
Lots of ski days. I'm going to try and break my record. Last year I did 112 days, so I'm hoping to do 120 this year. So I'm going to break that record. And my wife and I are doing a big cycle. We're doing the Ride the Rockies again this year, so a
Oh,
500-mile
cool.
bike ride in the summer, and lots of travel. I'm going to be doing a lot of events. So I'm going to be traveling the country this year and meeting up and connect with a lot of cool people. I can't wait to hang out with you again too, girl. We'll
Great.
have
The
to go to the
SoCal.
spot. Yeah, girl, where it's nice and warm. So doing lots of that, and then continue to build a profit groove. We've got about probably 180 clients now. I'm looking to scale it up to about 1,000 clients. So just going out and meeting really neat people, supporting amazing people, and just continue to grow it, continue to enjoy life, and work my heart math every single day to keep myself nice and centered and balanced.
Good for you. Yeah, there's all these people that talk about having the endless summer because they move from one warm climate to the next. I always imagine you in the endless ski season. Like you someday I'm going to find out that you're moving from one ski zone to the next, so you can keep
Right.
keep those skis on all year long.
Oh yeah, I love it. That's for sure.
Great. Well, thank you, Travis, so much. And again, you can find Travis at profitgroove.com. Go check out their program and how they're helping business owners just like you be able to get more done by freeing them up from those tedious online marketing tasks and activities that'll help you grow your business quicker. So thank you, Travis. Thanks so much.
You bet, Mel. It was a pleasure, my dear.
And as you're listening in today, one last thought. We'd love to hear what was an aha moment or something that really clicked for you. What is it that you can put into action from what Travis and I talked about today? We'd love to hear a shout out in the comments below. Share it with us and, help us learn what's resonating for you. So we'll love to read it and just post it below. And Travis and I will be checking it out. So thanks again for being here today. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
See ya.